Bill Gaither has long been associated with gospel music because of his voice, passion, and capacity to uplift millions of people. He and his wife Gloria established a life based on music, spirituality, and a strong sense of community. However, Bill's life took a tragic and unanticipated turn in recent months. Bill was 85 years old when his health started to deteriorate quickly. What began as mild exhaustion developed into something far more severe. Bill had been fighting a chronic disease for a while, according to the doctors. The man who had previously stood proudly in front of hundreds of people was now having trouble getting out of bed without help. As his condition rapidly deteriorated, both Bill's coworkers and admirers were shocked to learn of his sickness. However, it was more than simply physical deterioration. For his wife Gloria, it was the knowledge that the guy she had spent decades creating a life with, the love of her life, was up against a challenge neither of them had anticipated. Gloria had to assume a job she never imagined having to accept, becoming Bill's primary caregiver. As the strength and resiliency he had displayed during his career suddenly appeared to be eroding, Gloria felt overburdened. As Bill's illness deteriorated, there seemed to be fresh difficulties every day. Gloria had to face the sad fact that she might not have the time she had hoped for with Bill. Despite their deep love and strong faith, the couple's world, which had once been full with laughter and music, now focused on doctors' visits, treatments, and the quiet times in between, when they realized how little time they had left together. Gloria's emotional challenges and the cost of providing care grew. Gloria's surroundings became more alone, quieter, and teeming with an intense, nearly intolerable sense of melancholy. As the days went by, it affected her emotionally to see Bill, who had once been a lively and powerful presence, struggle with everyday activities. His life, music, and faith had all been accompanied by her. Together they had toured the globe, changed people's lives via their music, and created a love and inspiration empire. She never imagined having to take on the mental, emotional, and physical strain of caring for Bill as his health deteriorated, but now she had to do so. On some days, Gloria could feel her energy level dropping. It was draining to spend the restless nights by Bill's side, holding his hand or ensuring his comfort. It seemed like a burdensome burden on her shoulders at times. Gloria, however, never wavered in her devotion to Bill. Even when the tragedy of the circumstance wore her down, she was there for him. She would frequently sit next to him and talk about their adventures, happy times, and laughing over the years. She sensed a stronger bond with him during these calm times, one that was characterized by their decades-long love rather than his disease. Gloria was aware that this stage of their life couldn't continue indefinitely. Despite her strength, although she relied on her faith for strength, the notion of saying goodbye one day weighed heavy on her heart, and it was impossible to ignore the emotional pressure she carried. She loved every second she spent with Bill, but she also constantly worried that time was passing. The tough choice, Gloria bids farewell. Bill's condition deteriorated during the course of the weeks. Although no one could provide a precise time frame, doctors had warned Gloria that her time was running out. In addition to being excruciating, the uncertainty made her understand how much she needed to prepare for what lay ahead. Gloria had to make a difficult choice one afternoon as she sat with Bill and watched him sleep soundly. Bill had expressed what he wanted. He had always desired a quiet death surrounded by faith and love. He had always expressed his desire to stay with Gloria till the end, but he also wanted her to be free of this burden for the remainder of her life. They had never thought they would have to have this conversation, but they knew they had to. The prospect of saying goodbye was still almost unbearable for Gloria, even though she understood in her anguish that she had to respect Bill's desires. She had to accept that their time together was dwindling and that she needed to make ready for the most difficult farewell she would ever experience. The effects of Bill's legacy on their fans and family were profound. They received an unbelievable amount of support from their family, friends, and fans. As word spread about Bill's declining health, words of love and support were sent from people all over the world, from those who had been impacted by his ministry to those who were just casual fans of his music. The public's love for the Gaither family, who had always been a ray of hope for others, served as a reminder of the people they had touched over the years as they faced this difficult chapter. Despite her emotional exhaustion, Gloria took solace in the supportive letters. It was evident that Bill's legacy encompassed much more than just his music. It also included the pleasure, love, and faith he had provided to countless individuals. In addition to the gospel music he left behind, his legacy will endure in the innumerable accounts of others who were motivated by his example. The children of Bill and Gloria also came together in support of their father, giving Gloria the courage and encouragement she much needed at this difficult time. They made sure Bill felt encircled by love by spending valuable time with him. In addition to sharing their sorrow, the Gaither family knew that Bill's legacy would endure in the hearts of everyone who had been impacted by his ministry and music. Gloria's last farewell to Bill. At last, the moment everyone had been dreading came. A lifetime of memories and a legacy of love were left behind as Bill died quietly in the company of Gloria and their family. Devastated but grateful for their time together, Gloria now had to face life without her soul partner. Despite the unfathomable loss, Gloria was aware that she had kept her word to Bill. It was time to bid her farewell after she had supported him. Gloria murmured words of faith and love into Bill's ear during their last moments together, promising to always remember them. Even though she was aware that Bill was at peace, her own suffering persisted. Even death couldn't sever the link of love they had shared for so many years. Gloria was overcome with appreciation for the life they had lived together and the love they had created as Bill drew his last breath, but she would never be able to shake the emptiness his death had left behind. Going ahead, Gloria's path following Bill's death. After Bill passed away, Gloria had to adjust to a new reality in the days, weeks, and months that followed, one without the man she had known her whole life. Along with a great deal of loss, the voyage was filled with introspection and gratitude for everything they had done together. Gloria was certain that she would carry on paying tribute to Bill's memory by sharing their ministry with the world, their work together, and their music. The numerous supportive comments she was receiving from their followers, many of whom expressed how much Bill's music and message had meant to them, gave her solace. Gloria frequently found herself listening to their music and reminiscing about the passion and joy they had shared. Although it was bittersweet, it also brought back memories of their unending love for one another. Gloria promised to carry on the job they had begun, going ahead respecting Bill's legacy by adhering to their common goal. Gloria realized she had to go forward even though the grief of losing him would never completely go away. She would continue to preserve his legacy for upcoming generations by carrying his spirit with her. The reaction of the Gaither community and Gloria's new phase, the whole Gaither community, fans, ministry partners, gospel musicians, and even people who had only heard his music, came together in a spectacular show of love, unity, and remembering. In the days after Bill Gaither's death, radio stations played his favorite songs, churches hosted tribute services, and fans from all over the world told how Bill's music had gotten them through their worst moments. It became evident how profoundly Bill had impacted people's lives outside of TV screens and concert stages. Despite her grief, Gloria was touched by the outpouring of support. The letters came flooding in every day. Flowers arrived. Heartfelt remembrances and vintage video clips honoring Bill's life and contributions were widely shared on social media. Gloria read every note she could find, finding a strange sense of solace in the knowledge that her husband's legacy was now something that the entire world valued, not just her. Gloria gradually started thinking about what her own future might hold. She had been Bill's staunchest ally, a ministry partner, and a member of a pair for decades. However, she was now at the start of a new chapter, one that she had to face gracefully, even though she hadn't chosen. Gloria gradually started sharing her thoughts through speaking engagements, interviews, and even writing. Rather than withdrawing into silence, she talked on faith in the face of loss, sadness, and resiliency. Additionally, she carried Bill with her everywhere she went, not just in her mind but also in her goal. Gloria found strength in the affection she still received from the Gaither family of believers. She came to see that bidding farewell did not imply relinquishing the past, it just meant coming up with a fresh approach to continue it. She made the decision to choose hope every day. By doing this, Gloria entered her next chapter not as a departing wife but as a woman resolved to carry on the tale they had penned together. A peaceful departure brimming with faith and appreciation. There were no flashing cameras or public spectacles at Gloria Gaither's departure. As she and Bill had always lived their most holy moments humbly, faithfully, and gracefully, it instead transpired in silence. Close friends, family, and several longtime Gaither vocal band members gathered at a small private event in the Gaither family's hometown church to pay tribute to Bill. Grand speeches were absent. Instead, there were stories of tears and joy, music that said what words could not, and sincere words. Gloria was standing close to the front pew, clinging to the Bible that Bill had used on their ministry tours for years. Although she didn't cry during the entire service, her eyes began to well up with silent tears when the concluding hymn, "Because He Lives," one of Bill's favorite psalms, played. The meaning of that song, which the two of them had composed decades before during a period of personal adversity, had completely changed. The psalm's message helped her get over her loss by reminding her that life was still worthwhile because she knew who would be in charge of tomorrow. Gloria took the stage after the service to thank everyone present. She spoke steadily yet softly. "Music is a gift we give to people to help them get closer to God," Bill used to say. "Thanks to all of you, I feel closer to the Lord and to Bill today. We appreciate your wonderful love for us." She didn't have to elaborate. People found serenity in her straightforward words, a feeling that even if this chapter was coming to an end, the legacy they had created together remained alive in every heart their songs had ever touched. In the days that followed, Gloria went back home in silence. There were no lengthy public declarations. There were no significant announcements made online. She had already expressed what needed to be expressed in singing, love, and trust. She said goodbye to a shared existence on stage as well as to Bill. And now, she turned the page with grace and bravery, saying, "Farewell is never easy, especially when it involves someone who has impacted many lives by love, ministry, and music." After Bill's terrible health fight, Gloria Gaither gently withdraws from the spotlight, reminding us that their journey was never solely about prosperity or glory. It had to do with faith. It had to do with service. And in every stage of life, it was always about respecting God. Bill's voice endures in every lyric, melody, and heart that found solace in the songs he co-wrote with Gloria. Even if he may not be here as we once knew him, Gloria is carrying a legacy of decades of loyalty, tenacity, and an unshakable faith in the healing power of music with her as she finds the strength to continue on this journey without her lifelong companion. Her calm farewell is a reflection of the elegance with which she and Bill lived, not a conclusion, just a devoted woman choosing tranquility after a long, lovely chapter with her beloved. No publicity. No spotlight. Fans everywhere can take comfort in the knowledge that Gloria's departure was full of love, honesty, and the kind of strength that only comes from walking hand in hand with faith. Even though they may miss seeing her perform live, one thing is certain: as the last notes fade and the curtain slowly drops, the Gaither's music and its message will always be remembered. And that's possibly the most impactful farewell of all.